Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. As we had mentioned, the first verse or first mantra of this Upanishad, its implications, its knowledge can fill up libraries, really speaking. So there's no end on how much you can speak about this verse when you contemplate upon this verse. In the first verse, the great Rishi has given us the vision of truth. The vision of truth. And also pointed out the means, and that is through tyaga and having no sense of possession or attachment to anything in this world. If the first verse is talking about knowledge of the truth, in which the renunciation of the false takes place, then the first verse is about knowledge, meditation, and renunciation. Because without renouncing your dream, you cannot wake up, and on waking up, the dream is renounced. Another aspect towards the ending we saw was that life, human beings have got 4 goals, or 4 goals for which human beings strive for. They call as purusharthas. The first part explains to us what is moksha, and that is recognizing our infinite nature and being freed from all limitations. Tena tyaktena bhunjita. Really speaking, all objects of desires for which we struggle to fulfill our desires to enjoy. But really, enjoyment is there when we protect ourselves through tyaga. Therefore, all objects of the world are meant for our needs. And when we use them for our needs, rather than expecting to find happiness from these objects, really speaking, you protect yourself and you can enjoy your life. That's why Kabir Das said, Man lago mero yaar fakiri mein. You enjoy the freedom. And as far as wealth is concerned, wealth belongs to nobody. And magridaha, don't be like a vulture. One meaning is, and see what a vulture does is, his eyes is only on the kill of others. Gida, vulture, eyes are only on the kill of others and comes to kill, or comes to not kill, but eat the kill of the lion. Somebody else's effort. No? Therefore, what should be our attitude towards wealth? Wealth is used for sustaining life. use only as much as is required. Otherwise, really speaking, nothing belongs to us. Yeah? And therefore, we have seen about many aspects about wealth, and endlessly you can go on talking about it. And therefore, in giving and sharing wealth, never should we feel, never should we feel that we are doing charity. In fact, whose is this wealth? Never was it ours. And if you get it, use what you require for yourself, your family, to perform your duties. In Srimad Bhagavatam, what is the purpose of all these four Purusharthas has been clearly pointed out. Normally people say that through Dharma you should gain your artha. Means get your wealth through honest, good means. Therefore it was said, Kuru sadbuddhi manasi vitrishna yallabase nijakarmopatam vittam tena vinodaya chittam. So, with dharma, earn wealth. Because it's how we earn wealth and how we use wealth determines whether wealth is a blessing in our life or it is a curse in our life. Because artham anartham, that kind of wealth. So generally it is said, earn your wealth through dharma. So dharma becomes the mean, artha becomes the goal. And for most people in this world, what is the final goal? Moksha. Bhagwan. Yeah. I run so many courses, we ask them what is their, first all these things, but finally it is how much wealth you have to earn. That is your goal. Even in your work, in your career, everything, goal. Even if you go to shadi.com, how much a person is earning. Yeah? So artha. And what do we use our wealth for? Our pleasures. We spend not for dharma, but we spend it for kama, for pleasures. And moksha, to by the way, aa gaya to aa gaya. It came. I mean, there's some commodity called as moksha. If you get it, it's, well, they say it's very nice. Yeah. We talk about freedom, but that freedom is only that, your spouse should not tell you anything, your parents should not tell you anything, your boss should not tell you anything, and you can do whatever you want, either sleep or sleep, eat or eat. That is all that we understand as freedom. But freedom from all limitations. And simple thing to understand. A question that Gurudev put to us. Are you free to be happy? Our happiness depends upon how many factors. Somebody's smile, somebody's mood, what food has been cooked, how much did you get, who's got more than you. All these things. Are we really free to be happy? One question I ask, even sitting in this very beautiful place with such loving people, everything, can you guarantee that in the next 2 hours you will be happy? You'll get one text from home, finish. That's why switch off your phones. You're not free to be happy. But Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that artha is for dharma. Wealth is for dharma. Kama also means, kama is for our living our life. For example, you eat food. It is tasty. But it is to sustain our life, we should eat. And the wealth that we produce is for Dharma. And when we live a life of Dharma, it leads us to knowledge, chitta shuddhi, purity of mind, knowledge, and leads us to moksha. Very beautifully in Sri Ram Gita it is said, Dharamate bhirati jogate jnana jnana moksha prada veda bakhana. That through the performance of Dharma, what we get is dispassion, vairagya, non-dependence on things, beings, situations for our happiness. And then only the preoccupation of our mind with these changing things, environment, beings is freed, and then only there is yoga, single-pointedness of mind. And it is with a single-pointed mind can we gain knowledge. And knowledge of what? Of the one Isha, the one Atma, the one infinite self is liberating. So, in so many ways this verse or this mantra can be contemplated upon. It's a lifelong of contemplation. Every answer you need, you will get here. Really speaking, in this mantra also, Tyaga is Dharma. So that also is really explained. But when there is emphasis on Tyaga, renunciation, you know what people always understand as renunciation? Sannyas kisko कहते हैं? कर्म संन्यास. कुछ नहीं करना, हम तो भाई सन्यासी है. Bhaktas also, no? अरे क्या कुछ करना एक संसार जंजल में पड़कर, हम तो भाई भगत हैं, तो लड्डू खाते रहो. Kam ya karma is not given up. Desire for sense pleasures is not given up. But duties and actions are given up. That is not sannyas, no? And does not even lead to sannyas. Yeah? So that we don't misunderstand. Also, the next verse, so we don't misunderstand that renunciation means giving up of all actions. At the same time, everyone is not yet ready for the path of renunciation, meditation, and knowledge. If one is not ready for it yet, how should those people live their life? So that sadhana also has to be pointed out. That dharma by which we gain that vairagya, that dispassion, that by which we pursue knowledge and get freedom, total renunciation, that karma has to be pointed out. So how should we live our life as a human being? As an animal, survival alone, survival, propagation of the species is the only preoccupation of animals. But Nara, human beings, how should they live their life? So this very important verse, really speaking, that summarizes everything about how our actions should be in this world and how through actions we can be led to the path of knowledge. That is to be pointed out. At the same time, we may not misunderstand that the path of knowledge and renunciation is a path of no action. This is what we have to know. Because then everybody who realized becomes a stone. Also to be implied as to how does a realized master or after realization, when there is no more desire and we act only with desire. If there is no desire, you would like to sleep all day, isn't it? And really speaking, why do you wake up? For Vedanta class? Yeah. Afternoon nap, why do you wake up? The alarm is TT, 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 chai, 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 is it not? Yeah. Otherwise, when people have got no inspiration, not even a desire, will they get up even from sleep? No. So what is that life of inspiration where every moment man lives a life of productive action, which is called as work. Every action is not work, but intelligent, productive action is called as work. How should such a person live as a human being? Human being without work, without intelligent action, who only eats, sleeps, mates, what do you also generally call them? No? A useless life, an animalistic life. But that person is called as a human being, who even to gain his wealth doesn't cheat but works. Yeah. And works. And with that work, whatever he produces is for him and for others, family. And therefore, work becomes duty. Now, our whole culture is, all about duty, duty, duty. But today, any Indian will ask, no, duty, me, my family. And that too also, my family means not in-laws. There the question is, do I have got duties? We don't understand what is duty also. Anyway, these mantras of the Veda, as I said, they speak volumes. But what is essential for us to understand right now as sadhaks, we shall explain that. Otherwise, we can go on into the very philosophy of action, the purpose of life, everything that can be said in this verse. So the second mantra, the Rishi says,
Kurvanneveha karmani
Kurvanneveha karmani
Jijivishechatagam samaha Evam tvai nanyatetosti Na karma lipyate nare.
Kurvan eva iha karmani. Iha means here, in this world, now, in this life. Don't think about other life. Iha, here in this world, kurvan eva, doing actions alone. So, kurvan eva karmani jijivishe chatagam samaha. One should desire to live doing actions alone for a full span of human life, which is considered to be around 100 years. Some of you can't believe it, but there's one gentleman sitting right in the front, yeah, who's now 103. Yeah. Fully fit and able. Yeah. The verse doesn't say desire to live 100 years. Because desire to live is there in each one of us. And you might say, who wants to live for 100 years? But even if you become 90, no, you will not leave any committee. You will not leave any position. You will not leave your office checkbook. Yeah? You tell me, even at 90, you think that who wants, because you think that, old age, people suffer, who wants to suffer, I'd rather go, early. You might say like that. But when you are 90 and you're still living, you don't want to die. It doesn't say desire to live 100 years. It says doing action alone desire to live 100 years. Even that 100 years that has been mentioned, which is the full span of human life, it's around 100. Little bit more, little bit less, but that is the full span. Even if you desire to live for the full span of 100 years, Gurudev used to say, you won't burn the candle from both sides. Yeah? Our medical science is not about giving medicines. It's called as Ayurveda. Yeah? It's the knowledge of long, healthy life. Now, you'll say there are some people who live long life, but what's the point of living unhealthy life? For us, if you get that book, Mahamrityunjay Mantra, living an unproductive life, like when someone is bedridden, etc., don't we say as good as dead? Whether in a coma, yeah, even depressed, don't you say as good as dead? So when it is said desire to live, even though it says doing action alone, desire to live 100 years, even if you desire to live a long life, you desire, what you desire, you will work for. Desire everybody has got. But we've got desire for many things, many pleasures, many indulgences, etc. Is it not? But if you desire to live a long life, how will you live a life? Healthy, in moderation, in limit. Is it not? How much you eat, what you eat. Unfortunately, these days, until they tell you got diabetes, or that also diabetes, nobody really bothers these days, because take a pill, eat the sweets. Yeah. But if you desire to live a productive life, full span of life, how will you live your life? Just think. Tomorrow's discussion group. How will you live your life? Just a full span of life. Suppose you know that you've got 100 years to live. What do you say? Khao piyo maja karo. Because that 100 years cannot be productive and cannot really be living until unless you are healthy, yeah? You are alert in your mind and intellect. Not that you've got Alzheimer's and dementia and all that. You will work through preventive methods, not medical methods. You get the point? So it is said, desire to live a full span of life. Even if you just take it like that. Which means that how will you live your life? That if you have to live 100 years and out of that 50 years is going to be with illness, you will not want to live also, is it not? See, when the rishis give us these mantras, people nowadays think, mantra is just went to a guru, took one, quick Bij mantra. Rim, 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 cream, 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 Yeah. And then you don't know the meaning, you don't know anything, you just repeat. Then you'll get some siddhis and you'll get some powers. That is all what people want. Mananat trayate iti mantra. Trayate protects. Mantra is that which protects us. Yeah. One who reflects, contemplates on it. Yeah. Those who have heard discourses on Hanuman Chalisa, in Hindi I found another meaning of it also. No? Yeah. Mantra jisko manna hai. Means its instructions you have to follow. So here the mantra says that kurvan neveha karmani jijivishet shatagam samaha. Desire to live 100 years of whatever span of life you have, doing work alone. The word alone, as Gurudev says, can be put, and in Sanskrit language, can be associated with doing actions alone. Live 100 life, doing actions alone. Or with everything you can put this alone. Desire alone to live a full span of life. Forget every other desire. So you can go on, as I said, with each mantra to contemplate. If we hold on to that instruction, hold on to the mantra, just hold on to that statement. That's why we have quotes. If you read Gurudev's quotes, we've got many books or calendars with Gurudev's quote. You just take that quote and throughout the day, try to live with that quote, thinking about that quote, and then you see what happens. So many wonderful revelations take place about yourself, how you should act, how you should experience life, everything. So that's how these mantras, not that you came to Siddhbadi, you got very inspired, very nice, very, very nice talk, very nice thing, The jokes were very good. At least on online, so there's no time to give jokes. Yeah. But, when you really think that these mantras, just hold one statement, one mantra, and keep thinking and living on basis of that mantra. Yeah. That's why Guru Nanak Sahib says, Mat vich ratan jwar manik, je ik gur ki sikh suni. Mind will be full of such revelations, such jewels, such virtues, if only we were to follow one instruction of the Guru. And you know what Guru Nanak Sahib said? Which instruction? Sabna jiya ka ik data, so main visar na jai. May I never forget that there is only one giver of this universe. Magrida kasyasvit dhanam. Ishavasya idam sarvam. But just one instruction and that everything will come. So when we desire to live the full span of our life, doing work, And I said, work, karma, in Sanskrit is not just action. Very often we translate as action. Gurudev would do this. And Gurudev was so animated, no? He would do. This is action. But purposeless action is not karma. No? Purposeless action is not karma. But if I tell you that there was a bee and I was trying to get that bee off, intelligent man. There's a purpose behind it, then it becomes karma, it becomes work. Otherwise, it's just, as Gurudev Kalvani, just the movements of the body, unproductive movements of the body is not karma. All this is so much elaborated, those of you study the Bhagavad Gita. Each and every word is elaborate in the Bhagavad Gita. And only in this Upanishad do we find such a mantra on karma and how Bhagwan Shri Krishna has taken this and elaborated all the aspects of this mantra in the Bhagavad Gita. If I start giving you the parallels from the Bhagavad Gita to explain this verse, it will be a complete lecture on the entire Bhagavad Gita. So first of all, what is work? Then which work should be done? With what attitude should the work be done? What is the result of karma? How karma binds? Or does karma not bind? All this theme has been elaborate in the Bhagavad Gita. So for those of us who study the Bhagavad Gita, this verse is not difficult to understand at all. Because what Bhagwan says, what the Rishi says here is, and the Gurudev writes in his commentary also, he says, Krishna has just freely taken this idea from this Upanishad and and he has splashed it all over the teachings to Arjuna, in the Bhagavad Gita. With so many hues, so many colors, etc. Now don't call it plagiarization. Because Krishna was the teacher of Surya Devata. And this Upanishad comes in Shukla Yajurved. And Yagyavalkya ji, who is the mantra drashta, was the upasaka of Surya Devata, just like our Hanuman. And who taught it to Surya Devata? I tell you, these days I know, I take this course, Make It Happen. People take it to their various companies, then brand it by their own name, make millions out of it, I don't mind that as long as you're not going to put on me plagiarism. Yeah? So don't think that Krishna plagiarized it. But our Vedas, our Rishis, Guru's work, then Bap ka maal hai. Using it doesn't mean that, you're stealing anything. Anyway, the whole thing is that the whole Bhagavad Gita, the philosophy of action or work that is there in Bhagavad Gita is from this one verse and the following verses that go to explain the relationship of karma with knowledge, etc. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.